Welcome back to Let's Automate It with Robin, or AI and automation for non-techies. And what you're seeing today on my N8N canvas is part one of a workflow that we can use to kickstart your AI and automation agency. Get jobs, start delivering services in this niche. Now, of course, this can be adapted to apply for all kinds of jobs. But we're going to focus on the AI and automation niche. And what is happening here is this is a flow that's actually going to scrape UpWork for jobs. And then we're going to create an application for that job. So if you don't know, Upwork.com is a place where people can post jobs that they want done. And then experts can put an application in for that job and get selected. So instead of kind of putting yourself up as a freelancer and having someone reach out to you is possible via Upwork, but Upwork principally works the other way around where jobs are posted and then people bid on their jobs. So here's an example of one right now. We've got on the screen. Full-time expert in Go High Level and implementation of AI and CRM. Pretty perfect for the type of work we would be doing if you're involved in AI and automation. So here it is. We're looking for a dedicated full-time partner, blah, 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 and so on. Now with Upwork, you do have to buy connects. Connects are kind of credits in order to apply. But our workflow today is going to scan Upwork, look for new jobs, and then create on autopilot using AI the application, the cover letter that we need in order to apply for this. So let's dive in. Let me show you how this is going to work. Let's head back over to our N8N scraper. So you can see on the screen is the exact flow, complete with descriptions. And in fact, we've added into this, thanks to my partner, Darren's great work. We also have a well annotated flow here with a summary of what this does, the tools to use, how to set up, everything that you need. We're going to be using Airtable as well. So the complete setup, how to get Airtable, etc., is all available here right on the canvas. And of course, like always, you can follow along with me today and build this out completely from scratch. But if you just want to grab this workflow, if you want to just be able to just kind of Control C, Control V, and just have this workflow like you see it on the screen just appear on your N8N canvas, that's completely doable. This will be available in our Let's Automate It community. Link below in the video description on how you can get into that. I think we have 3 or 4 places left for our founder members. That's the first 100. It's been a while since this video was published. Maybe that has gone past, but still excellent value for money. And what you get in our community is we do a live session every single Monday. We've got one happening shortly. We've got members in here where people are asking questions about N8N, AI, automation, all kinds of things. We've got channels here dedicated to AI and automation news, tips, wins, getting jobs. We even have a full layout here on courses, how to learn to do AI, how to learn to do automation, how to master N8N. We've got prompts, marketing guides, you name it, it's in here. Really good value for money. If you want to learn and stay at the cutting edge of AI and automation, join us, this fast-growing community. We'd love to have you there. If you've got a question about this video as well, good idea. Jump into the community and join us there, and we can answer those questions. Of course, we will do our best to answer you in the comments of YouTube as well. All right, enough of that sales pitch. Let's dive right in. So what we've got going over here is a trigger. And what this trigger is going to do, this trigger is actually a form. And the form is going to be a web form that you can complete. And it is going to capture the criteria, the term you want to search Upwork for. So we'll look at that. Then we're going to use Apify. Apify is a marketplace of actors or scrapers that can scrape all kinds of databases like LinkedIn or Google Maps, Upwork in this case, Indeed, all kinds of things. In fact, we've got a whole video on scraping Google Maps where we dive deep into Apify and how to use it. Go check that out, but we'll be looking at this in some more detail. We're going to capture those results. We're going to check if those results don't already exist in our Airtable, because we don't want to be applying for jobs we've already applied for. So we have an Airtable node up here. We'll be diving into how to use that. And we're going to be checking to see if we've got any new listings that have come in since our last search. That's what this merge node is all about. And if you've been following our videos sequentially on this channel, merge node may be a new one. I'm not sure if we've covered the merge node before. I think it's a new one. We'll be diving into how the merge node works. Super useful. And we'll have a little response to the form. When you fill out the form and you hit submit, it'll load up a little website with some messaging. We'll show you how to do that. That's an unnecessary but kind of cool step. And then finally, we're going to be writing the results back to Airtable. So that's going to be the flow of kind of getting new listings, checking if they are indeed new since we last checked, and then writing them to Airtable. So that's half of it. This is UpWork Scraper Part 1. And let's pop over to UpWork Scraper Part 2. Correct, that's going to bug me. All right, we'll zoom in a little bit here. And what this flow is going to do is it's going to run on a trigger. So I think I've set it for every minute. It's going to get all the records from our Airtable. It's going to check if we want to apply for that job. If we do want to apply for that job, it's going to write us a cover letter and then publish that cover letter back to Airtable so that we can go and apply for that job on UpWork. Now, UpWork does have an API, but they're very, very strict. It's quite tedious to apply for that. So the last step of this workflow, unless you really want to go through those steps of getting the API, is going to be the manual process of applying for the job on UpWork. But all the copy will have been done for you. You can just modify, make sure it suits you perfectly, and then put it in. So that's what's going to be happening through this flow. So let's get into the build. That's the overview. Let's get into part 1 and have a look at what's going on. All right, so let's zoom in here so you can see better. There we go. Okay, so we've got an N8N form trigger here. So you can just go into your and go N8N form trigger and grab this on new form event and pull it onto the canvas. All right, so that's all you need to do. Then that's what I've done here. I'm going to double click this to open it up. And it's essentially a webhook, but the webhook's been fired by a form. That's what's happening here. So just like our webhook node, we've got a test URL and a production URL, and you can give the form a title. Now I have put a whole bunch of information in here that doesn't look so great on the form, but it's kind of instructions on how to fill out the form. The idea being someone who's filling this out may not be familiar with UpWork, so it's kind of letting you know what regions you can use to search, what countries you can use to search, etc., etc. You can make this as long or as short as you want or leave it out. It's up to you. I'll show you that in a moment. But then the form fields, what is the search term? And AI and automation, you may want to search on something like AI or automation or N8N or make.com or Go High Level or Martech or any tool anything that you think might return a result. In fact, a pro tip here, head over to UpWork and do some, create an account there and then do some searching on UpWork to try and get the nature of the results that you want, and then go and grab those search terms and come and put them in here. This next section here is max results. We're going to be sending this over to Apify. That's going to scrape UpWork for us, and we don't want to leave this blank because it'll come back with all the results. Now, if you're searching a term like make.com, there's hundreds of jobs there and you're going to get hundreds of results, which is going to feel overwhelming. So this lets you set your results. We recommend between 5 and 10 as a decent number of results to stay on top of. You can go more than that, but Apify is a pay-for service, so the more results you get from Apify, the more you're going to spend. But if you're getting the jobs, it's going to be money well spent. And then here is the country. You can type in the country if you want to narrow your search. If you leave it blank, it'll do a global search everywhere. And then important here, so right now you can just going through this, we've got no authentication, form path. You can change this. So just changing the path here changes this URL. So leave it like it is. So nothing really to configure except at the bottom here, respond using webhook node. We want to go with this last option, respond to webhook node. And that's just going to let us, once we've submitted the form, it's going to let us give the post submission page, it'll load up a little mini web page and give us some information. So that's what's happening here. Now, I've got a little bug in my N8N that you may have on yours. It's that if you pull on this form node, if you pull this in out of the tray, you may, this is certainly what's happening for me, not get this last option. It might just give you these two options, nothing else. And I'm not sure what's going on there. I had a look in the N8N forum and I actually found, let me actually find the post. There it is, N8N forum. Mirox here found this option. He found a solution. Copy the form to JSON for now and change the version to 2.0 and that should work. I tested that, that'll work. Let me show you what he's talking about here. Let me give you a real example. So I am going to, I'm just going to get out of this workflow. I've got a playground workflow. Here we go. And I've been mucking around with this one already. So if we look at this node, you'll see what I mean. I don't have that third option. It's missing. So what I've done, he said to copy the JSON, which basically means just copy the node, and then go and open any kind of text editor. Even WhatsApp will do the job. I've got this editor called a COT editor, but it doesn't matter. Your plain text editor will work. And then he said to change the version to 2.0. And here is the version here, 2.2 is this version. If I change that to 2.0, and then I just highlight this all again, go back over to my canvas, and if I paste this in, come down, suddenly now I've got the third version. So I'm not sure what's going on with N8N. I have got hold of them to let them know about the situation. So if you're having a trouble where you're not seeing that third version, that is the fix. That is the fix to respond to webhook node. Okay, I hope that helps that little hack around. I don't know how long that fix will last for, but that's what we're working with at the moment. Let's dive back into our workflow here, and that's what we've got going. So if I hit test workflow now, this is our test version of the form because the flow is not live. Here's all the criteria that I've put beforehand. It's ugly. You don't need this, but I've put it here for this video. So, recommendation, search UpWork first, set your max results, everything we've discussed, and then here's the form, search turn, N8N max results country. So I'm gonna put a results in here, and I'm gonna say give me 5 results, and I'm gonna leave this global. Okay, so I'm gonna hit submit now. And this is busy working. The flow is now started. When it gets to a certain point in the flow, this is going to return to us a page here that's going to give us some information. So we'll come back and look at that. Let's go back to our let me go back to our canvas here, and we can actually see it is running at the moment. I'm gonna let this run through. It's busy scraping Apify. Right now it's on the next node. It's doing, Apify is scraping UpWork for any jobs with N8N as a keyword in it. Okay, so here's a good chance. Let's go have a look at Apify while this is running. Apify.com is where you want to head over to. Here it is, apify.com. Go check out our Google Maps scraping video if you haven't seen already. We go into Apify in detail, but I'm going to go through this quickly. And now I'm in the console, and we have actors, and you can go and have a look in the store, and you can just search for UpWork and see what comes back. And I believe I'm using this one, UpWork's Job Scraper. That's the one I'm using. I've selected that one. You can select it, and there is the scraper. Now you can use it right from in here, but of course we want to action it via API, via N8N is how we want to access this. So the input here is, I'm going to cancel here. So the input here is AI and automation. That's a sample. Don't worry, you can put anything in here for now. What we're doing is trying to create the API environment that we can leverage. So we're just going to go put stuff in here. I'm just going to add here. I'm just going to go USA for now. Max results. Let's return 5 results. Run options. We want to use the latest build. Let's take this memory up to, 8 gigs. Oh, by the way, you get 5 gigs free every month from Apify. Thanks, Apify. Great guys. And you can limit your charged results. So I've just set, what I've done here is I've set the typical input. But now if I go over to JSON, here is the JSON I get. So just copy this, copy that. And we're going to go back over to N8N, and we're going to paste it into an HTTP node. Now there is an Apify community node which we've covered in a couple of our prior videos, but we did find out that those that are using the cloud version of N8N don't have access to custom nodes. So we're going to show you how to do this via HTTP node. So we come back here. Okay, our flow is busy running, which means we've got data. But let's go look at this now. So it's just an HTTP node. Just so you know, just type in HTTP. If I could spell HTTP. Oops, let's just start again. I got stuck in the WhatsApp there. HTTP. There's the node. Pull that on. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife of nodes. And what I want you to do is to go down here and turn on send body JSON. And this, you're going to switch from using fields below to using JSON. And I'm just going to open this up. In here, you're just going to paste that JSON that we've just fact, let me just repeat that here. So let's just, I'm going to double check and I got it right. Let me just double check that. Oh, got the wrong thing in my clipboard there. So let's just go and grab that there and come back over to my N8N, pop this in, and there you can see it's pretty much the same. So all I've done here now is I am dragging in the input from the form. So I'm dragging in here where it says search term. We're just going to delete the search term out because that was the search term that came in with our JSON, and I'm just going to drag this in here and drop there. So now our search term is that. This is the proxy residential. Leave it like that. It basically is a rolling proxy, so the IP address doesn't get blocked. Location, we'll delete that out. The location, I've got country in here. There's no data to it, but we can still map in the variable. And max results, I'm going to delete that out, and we will pull in max results here. Oops. And as you can see here, this is the results I'm getting. So I'm going to delete this out, but that's how you build up your JSON. This is the configuration, the input information that Apify needs. So we're halfway there. Okay, so go and do that. But now at the top here, we need to kind of populate this. This is hitting the API endpoint and what we need here. So let's head back over to Apify, and I'm going to show you exactly where you get that. So we're still on that same actor. I'm going to go to API, and we're going to go to API endpoints. Okay, and here's all the endpoints, and we want here this one, run actor synchronously and get synchronously and get dataset items. Is that the one I want? Let's just double check. Yeah, so that's the endpoint we want. It's API endpoint. It's a post. So we're just going to copy that, and you can see here it's run sync get dataset items question mark and then token. That's your API token. It's not showing up there. So but that see that URL there. Copy that URL, then head it back over to and set method post. Paste in your URL completely. You can see there it is there. Now I haven't added the token in because I've got to set up credential. Now you can go and set up credentials for this. It's very straightforward. You just basically head over to a basic simple basic authentication and just pop in your API key. Simple as that. If you get stuck there, go check out our Google Scraper video. We go into getting this set up more detail. If that's not working for you, then change this to none and just paste in after this URL. Just actually go and paste in the full URL that you see here with the item question mark token and then the master items there. That'll be your API key. That will get the job done. You can just put all that in. You don't have to worry about getting a credential. Of course, I'm not doing that because I don't want to share my credential with the whole internet. So that's what's happening here. I'm just actually loading my credential here. Okay, then send body, put that together. So now what's going to happen is it is going to send the information over to Apify using that endpoint, and it's going to send this information through, which it has done. And we asked for 5 results. Let me click over to table mode here, and here we have 5 results. We've got 5 job listings on UpWork that match with the keyword N8N. There it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got results. Okay. So let's head over to the set node here. If you're not sure what a set node is a very useful node, edit fields bracket set, and it's just where you kind of set the parameters, set the data that you've captured from a previous node. It isn't always necessary, but it's good hygiene, good hygiene there. And here is what I'm setting. I want to get the title of the job, the description of the job, the URL of the job, the contract type, the questions. Some jobs come with additional questions, very few. So we made allowance for that. We haven't actually configured it up, but if you do find you're getting questions coming in, you can drag this in and go with that when it was posted. So let me go through here. So we scraped UpWork title, grab title in, posted at. There's posted at. I've just dragged that in. Description, URL. Now URL is, I put this little thing before it here, because the Apify results only give you the slug. They don't give you the full URL. So I've just added in upwork.com to that so that we get the full URL coming in. So that's a little trick there. And then I've also dragged in the search term and the country search, and I've got that from here from our form trigger search, just so that when we populate our Airtable, this information is going to be sent into Airtable. I've got that as a reference. So simple as that. If you've used N8 a little bit, you know how it works. Just drag in mapping and we are done. Okay, so I'm not going to hit test step here because I've already got data pulling through. Okay, so now let's ignore the merge node for now, this branch, but now it's sending 5 items up into Airtable. So if you haven't got an Airtable is basically like a database that runs somewhat like a spreadsheet, and Airtable is available. And if you head over to here, this is how you set up Airtable, airtable.com, go and create an account, and you can grab the base, the actual setup of the Airtable through the links here, right here on the flow. Otherwise, what you're going to do is go over to Airtable, go and connect up. We go into here and you go into credentials here. There is the option to look at these docs to walk you through how to get an access token, how to get your API sorted out. Very straightforward. I'm not going to go through it because N18 has done it for us with this open doc situation. So get your credentials set up, get connected. Okay. Once you've connected, you're going to need to create a database, what we call a base, in order to be able to pull information into this node here. So we've made this for you. You can go get a copy of this. We've got several data tables in here, but the one we're looking at is UpWork job applications, and here are the titles. Job listing title, okay, search term, country search, URL. You'll recognize that these are the tables, the titles that are matching that set node that we just created. So we're about to write this information here into this. And in fact, this is a demonstration. Here are a whole bunch of jobs that have come in, and I've actually written, there are cover letters already written. These are things that have already been done. So I'm actually going to delete out these records because there might be duplications. So I'm just going to delete all of these. Let's delete down to here. I want to keep one demo. So we'll keep all of that, and I'll delete all of that just because I want to be pushing fresh data into here, and N8N is doing a duplicate check, and there might be some duplicates, and you won't have duplicates because you'll be doing this for the first time. So, but there's a sample one that's a sample job that's in there already. So anyway, go and grab this, set up your database, set up your base, copy the base, or just work through and set up these titles. It's pretty straightforward. I'll show you how to do it. You can just go in here. You can create a new field, single line text, attachment box, and so on. This is going to make more sense as I work through it in time, but yeah, pretty straightforward how to set this up. Basically as simple as building a spreadsheet. Okay, so let's head back over to here, and now we are going to use the credential we've set up before. The resource is the record, and what we are doing with this table is we're actually fetching all the pre-existing records that are in that database. In your case, you may have 0 because it's empty, but once you've run it once, it'll populate, it'll fetch the rest. So you just see me delete a bunch out, so this should only return 1, and it's going from list. You just navigate to the name of your particular base, and you navigate to the list of your particular table. And here's a little formula. This Airtable works like a spreadsheet, so think of it like a spreadsheet. So we want to look at the column called URL. If I head back over to our base, we've got a column called URL. And if I come back to my N8N and equals and speech marks JSON URL, what am I pulling in here? It is the JSON URL from this search node, this one here. So that's what I've pulled into that. And there's brackets behind the whole lot here. So, that's what's happening. I'm not sure, just copy this, it will work. Click on return all, and I'm not going to run this right now. We'll come back and run it in a little bit, I think, because I've already run these steps. But you can run this, and it'll pull out the results that are coming through. And actually, I don't want to run it because we're going to mess with this merge node. So what are we doing here? We've set the results, and now we're just pulling any pre-existing results from Airtable. That's what we're doing. Okay. And we're also going to be loading our little web page here. So this is a respond with no new jobs. So we've got this node here of N8N form trigger. And if you recall, we set up this respond to webhook node. And this is a respond to webhook node. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So we'll go webhook, and then here we have respond to webhooks, and let's pull that onto and we're going to respond with text, and I'll stop there. Where did it hide that one? There, let me just delete it because that's exactly what I've got on here. Open this one up, respond with text, and then I've just loaded some HTML in here to format this to look pretty. You don't need to do this step. This is just something nice. And at the bottom here, I've got put in some text. Any job listings have been inserted into your Airtable. And I put a button here that's linking out to your Airtable. So you probably know your Airtable URL. In fact, if I go back to the set node, you can actually add in your Airtable URL as the set node here. And then here you can actually drag that in as a URL. I've hard coded it in here, but you could drag in your URL or just hard code in the URL of your particular Airtable, and that'll create a button where you can access your Airtable quite quickly. I believe if we go back and look at the results now, there we go. So this was the page that had the form on it where we click submitted, and it has now run, and it's returned that HTML page and access your Airtable. So that's what's happening there. Don't really need it, just a nice little touch, because it's giving us a response after we've hit submitted. Otherwise, you would just hit submit, and it would say submitted, and then you go check in your Airtable to see what results have come in. All right. Okay, so now we need to merge results. So we need to pull down the results that have come from Airtable. Okay, so all the results that have come from Airtable, along with all the results that are coming here from our scrape, from our initial scrape. So as you can see, I've got 5 items going there, 5 items going here. And now what the merge node does, merge node, just grab that, pull that on. Now we want to configure this merge node. So there are multiple options here, but we want to combine. Okay, we want to merge by fields. Okay, input of field number 1 is URL and lowercase URL. Those are those two. In fact, let me just run this quickly. All right, so it is running. I think deleting out those records has buggered this up a little bit. Set scrape results. These are my results, 5 items coming in. So it's going to compare what's coming in from here, and the field there, the field in this one that we're looking at is URL, uppercase URL. You can see it there, uppercase URL. That's the field. And here, I believe it is lowercase URL. That's just what these two fields are named. So in here, we're looking at input field 1. That's the upper connection point, in field 2, lower connection point, uppercase URL, lowercase URL. So those are just the field names it's looking at. There's input 1, input 2. And it's comparing those two, and it's keeping non-matches. In other words, if it finds a match, it's going to discard it. But non-matches will be passed through. And we're going to keep data from input 2, because that is our source of information, input 2. And it's going to pass the new listings, the listings that have not been found before, that aren't already saved in the Airtable from a previous list. It's going to save that. Okay. And it's got all the items are brand new. It's come through. There were no items coming down from Airtable because I deleted them all out. So we can see all the jobs have passed through. So they're all new jobs. And we'll run this one. This is again, exactly the same node, respond to webhook. That's generating that. That's generating that website we looked at. We've got 2 options here. They're both actually doing exactly the same thing. This is because it's a legacy from another workflow we were looking at, where we are using this in a different way. But basically, both of these are doing exactly the same thing. In other words, if it finds duplicates, it's going to tell you, it's going to link you through to your Airtable, present that web page. If it doesn't find duplicates, it's also going to present you with the same web page. So I'm just using that on both. So it happens in both scenarios. Okay, now it's come through to our Airtable node. And what have I done here? I've literally just, again, connected up my credential. The operation here is create or update. The last time it was search. Now it's create or update. We're looking at the lists, mapping each column manually. We actually don't need to map on ID because we're not updating pre-existing we're inserting new records. So this can be left blank, this one here. And then I've just dragged in here from the merge node. From the merge node, I've just dragged in all the items. Make sense? Now we've got an apply toggle here. Turn that off. That's because we've got a column in the Airtable where there is a checkbox and it comes through as a toggle. We've got another checkbox here. Both of those must be off. Now I'm going to hit test setup. This is busy writing to Airtable. All right, and if I go look now at our Airtable, we can see here are the jobs that have come through. So this is our list of jobs. Looking for a versatile developer, network developer, specializes in robotic process automation, Zapier. I mean, these are pretty spot on things. 2 days ago, last week, these are the contract type. It's hourly rate, etc., etc. Here's a job description. If I open that up, let's expand that. There's the job description. Let's look at another one that's pretty short. Let's look at this one. There's a bigger job description. So you can see we've populated our Airtable with the new job posts. All right. So that is part one completed. Let's go back over to here. So basically we've scraped UpWork for new jobs, check that we haven't already got those jobs, and if the ones we haven't got, we populated to Airtable. That one got a little bit bitty because we're jumping around. This merge node is the interesting one, but that's essentially what has happened. Now we've got to jump over to part two, where we get to review the jobs and decide which ones we want to apply for, and then create an application for it using AI. I hope that's making sense. Let me hit the magic save button over here. And before I go any further, let me just quickly mention, I've set up an N8N form trigger here. So every time you wanted to do this, you could go and hit this URL. You would actually just go to the production URL of here. Once this was tested, that would be the URL you would go to. You fill out the form, and just whenever you want to check for new results, you can. What you could also do is maybe replace that form trigger with a timer. And maybe every week, for example, you could have a timer. So every week, and connect it up to here. And then in here, you could go into here and actually hard code in your search criteria for Apify. So every week I want to search America for the search term N8N to see if any comes back. If you just wanted to repeat it on a trigger and not have to fill out the form, that would be a nice evolution of this workflow. But for now, we're sticking with the work form. So that's done. Okay. Hope you're with me still. Let's go over to part two. All right, I'm zooming in here so we can see what's going on. Okay, so part two has got a scheduling trigger that is checking every minute for any changes inside the database. All right, so any minute it's checking, it's checking to see if there's any changes. I've got this workflow active, so while I've been doing this, it's been checking for any changes in that workflow, but in particular, it's checking for changes in a particular column. So before I go any further, let's head over to our Airtable base and let's have a look at these jobs and see which ones we want to apply for. So N8N workflow expert needed. That definitely sounds good. So I put in a node here where I can put a checkbox here. This is a checkbox node. Sorry, not a node. I'll go edit field. It is a checkbox, and the style could be anything. I've got it as a tick. So that's a column, not a node. Sorry, I'm stuck in N8N mode. So I want to apply for that one. Enhance workflow for project manager. And this one sounds good as well. So just for examples, I've highlighted that. So now if we come back over to the workflow, part two of the workflow, okay. Okay, so let's run this Airtable, but I actually don't want this cron job to be running while I'm talking here because this is live. So I'm just going to disconnect this for now because we're testing at the moment. So let's just go and get all our records from Airtable. Let me just double check our Airtable is set up correctly. Okay, so we want at least one of these to be applied. So it's run and unapplied a few. So, because at the end of our flow, we remove this checkbox. That's what's been happening while I've been talking. So let's go and just check that one. And then let's also just uncheck this. because now we've got a record that we want to apply for, at least one. So that's been checked for. Let's go back over to our flow. Okay, I've disconnected that because I don't want it to run until we're ready. And I'm going to go and fetch all the records from our Airtable. We've got 6 items, that's correct. Okay, and now we want to check whether we've got a schema here. If we want to check whether the apply is true, this is a Boolean. It's either true or false. So this is red at the moment, but if we go to table, it's red just because if we go look here, under apply for this record, it's undefined. In other words, there's no value in that. It's not true or false. It's undefined because we haven't put anything in. If I scroll down, I'm going through all the records we've achieved here. One of these should be true. There we go, true. And you can see this has changed green as I hover over that. So we're saying, has it been marked as true? Yes, it has. And has it been applied on UpWork yet? And the answer is no. We haven't actually checked that. So this is true. So there should be one item out of 6 that meets these criteria, that we do want to apply for it and we haven't applied for it yet. So we're going to hit test setup and I should get 1 true branch. I do. Fantastic. Got 1 true item running through that. Okay. Oh, that was an if node, by the way, guys. If you're not sure what an if node is, that's what it is. It checks, is this condition true? If you know, let's maybe change this. Apply. So how's that? Okay. All right, now we're using an AI node. Okay, this is messenger model. Let me show you where I got it from. We're going to go advanced AI. We're going to go into OpenAI and we're going to go to messenger model. That's the one we're using. I will get rid of this one because we have one already. I don't need to be mucking with that. Okay, and right here on the flow, we've actually given you the full prompt right here, as well as a link to some suggestions on the net on good prompting. So that's available for you there if you grab this workflow out of our community. So now let's go into this. Hook up your AI credential. I'm sure you know how to do that. If you're not sure how to do that, just go and get your API key from OpenAI and pop it in there. We're using the GPT-4o Mini. It's a really powerful flow, not the most powerful AI, but a nice affordable one. So that's what we're using here. We've put in this power prompt. As I say, it's mentioned right there on the canvas. You're writing a cover letter, you will be provided with this information, which is the information we have about the job, the title, the URL. Write a cover letter, here's the structure, here's the notes. If there are any questions, write the responses to the questions and then return the results in JSON. And we have configured the JSON right there. Pause this workflow, grip this, or else join us in the community where you can get this for yourself. But create it there, and then that's and we're going to create a system prompt. That was the system prompt. We're going to create a user prompt here, text, and really all we've done here is drag in the correct fields from the previous node. So we just job title, and I've just pulled in job title. I'll show you what I mean. Let me just repeat that step. Job title is that one there. Okay, let's just redo all of these quickly. Job description is this one here. Question 1. Now we don't have questions. So I'm actually going to pull in. Actually, let's leave that like it is. These fields they're undefined. They're not going to work. I'm going to leave this here. So if you can add it in at a later stage, but you can actually delete this out. But it should make a difference. We're going to leave this here. But this is now the information we're feeding into the AI. If you happen to come across a job that asks for additional questions, you can configure that up. Okay, so that's been done. Okay, and we're going to hit test setup. Test set, not test set up. So now the AI is busy running and we've got ourselves a result. Okay, it should be in the JSON format we're after. Yes, it is. Okay, and now we write this back to Airtable. So what am I doing here? Again, connecting it up, create or update using my Airtable node. Now the ID is important here. We need to know which record to go with. So let me jump back into schema here and we are going to go and get this is the ID here. This is how the node knows which job listing to write back to for the cover letter, the additional answers, etc., etc. Okay, so we're writing the cover letter in here. There's the cover letter. Just drag that in. Boom, done. Okay, additional answers if there are any. And then we've toggled this on apply on UpWork, and I've toggled this one off. So what this does is this is going to turn off the checkbox of the item that we have applied for already, and it's going to turn on the checkbox to say you have applied on UpWork. Now, we haven't actually applied, but we've created the cover letter, so we're going to assume that's the trigger there. So we're going to look for a cover letter for this one job. We're only applying for one job. And let's see if it has written to up into our Airtable. Okay, so this is the one we're after. It's removed the tag, the apply token. That's what we wanted it to do. Okay, and it's moved it to the top. So as it writes it removes it to the top. So that's been replied. That was the one we're after. And here it's written our cover letter for us. Okay, I love working with automation tools like RPA and Zapier. I have a lot of experience. Now, you can enhance these by, adding a knowledge base, a RAG agent to it, etc., etc. This particular job was asking, do you have experience? I believe. Let's check at it. This is asking someone who specializes in Zapier. So this one has written a cover letter to say, yes, we do specialize in Zapier. By the way, if you can run N8N, you can figure out Zapier. I've got a lot of experience. This is my last job. I did this, I did that, and the next thing, and so forth. So we've got this cover letter here. And now you can go grab this cover letter. I just copied it. You can now go over to the URL. Now, provided you've got some connects, I've run out of connects, the credits, you can now apply for this job using this cover letter that's already been created. That simple. So really, after that long explanation, because we've got a lot going on here, really what's happening is we are using N8N to search UpWork for new listings. If we find new listings, we check if we haven't applied for them before, and if they're unique. If they are unique, we load them up into our database. We can then review the database, select the ones we want to apply for, and then that process will write us a cover letter, and we can go back and apply for those jobs. This is a great way to kickstart your AI and automation agency by looking for these tools, looking for these job listings, getting jobs, get going, get experience, get started. And before you know it, you'll have an AI and automation agency up and going, teaching people how to do exactly this, showing people how to do exactly this for their own businesses. I hope that's been useful. This has been a more complex flow. We've dived into some deep stuff here, got some more interesting flows going. We've looked at merge tokens. I hope you stayed with me. I hope you've enjoyed this flow. Go back, watch it slowly, join us in the community. Love to see you there. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you spending time with me. I really do. Comments down below. I do my best to answer every single comment. We'll catch you next week, Monday. We publish live every single Monday. Have fun. Enjoy AI and automation.